This is a coming of the main attraction. This is a coming of the main attraction. Children of your mind, read the end of time. Serpents wearing business suits with evil on their minds.
What's up, Triangle? Good to see you again. We're on the 9th episode. Happy to say that, and I'm also happy because I have a guest today. You guys are representing the Food Lion industry. Okay, but let me tell you about the topic today. The topic today is communication and community efforts, pretty much. And I brought this gentleman on the show. Introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening. My name is Tony Sawyer. I'm the store manager for Food Lion on Roxborough Road in Durham at store 747.
747. Y'all need to play that number, 747. That look like a good number, good scratch off. But all jokes aside, today I got a chance to witness the community efforts of one of probably the United States' biggest food chains, and that's Food Lion. And I got a call from a good friend that said, hey, they're giving away groceries, 2 bags of groceries. So that's rare coming from a multi-million-dollar corporation that's most of the time, only concerned about the bottom line. So I took it amongst myself to stop what I was doing, ran down to Roxborough Road, ran into this nice gentleman right here and some of his predecessors, and I was impressed. I mean, line wrapped around the corner, a lot of smiling people, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to say nothing crazy, but they looked like they needed that food too. You get what I'm saying? Because food is something that we all need, nourishment. And for Food Line to put this big initiative together, I was impressed. So I asked them to send me somebody, and they did. And I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Sir, that's basically, how did this initiative drive even started?
It's plain and simple. Food Lion has been passionate about wanting to serve and give food to over 500 million families by the year of 2020.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
And that's a lot of children ain't gonna be like, Mama, you got some milk. Guess what? You got milk. Because Food Line gave it to you. And then let me not lose, because y'all know I get silly. When basically, and I don't mean like more or less long term, but like anytime soon, is there anything else you guys are planning to do?
Well, we partner with local food bank industries daily, who comes by our store that we aid in with their food banks.
Okay.
And we've been having a community initiative that was been going on with our Holiday Without Hunger campaign. Started back in November. Today is the last day. You can actually go by any food line organization, buy a box of food that you can donate to your local family, or you can make donations to the local food bank.
See, and that's a beautiful thing. So my next thing is, why? I mean, because most of the time, and I'm not saying why, because I'm sure everybody that got them groceries today was like, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord.
Oh, yes.
Bless his heart, I got my stuffings. So why do you think your CEOs and them even took the time out to even put that out there?
You want to know what's powerful is we actually care.
Wow.
We actually care. We believe that no family should have to choose between paying their rent, putting gas in their car, or buying food.
Man, that is beautiful. And real talk, that's beautiful because, again, I always tell everybody about my humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
And there was days, no food. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm looking at the end pieces of my homie bread like, you gonna eat that, man? I mean, I just want the end pieces. I don't even want a whole piece. Because we was really that hungry. So coming up in the humble beginning area, when you see things like this, like the JC's, Food Lion, and everybody in the food bank, doing these initiative programs, it actually is one big hug to the community and letting them know, look, without y'all, we wouldn't exist. And without us, it's almost like one hand washing the other. And it's very rare when you find a corporation as big as Food Lion that would even step down to actually show you that they're human. So I'm going to say on this show, Food Lion is the human grocery store.
Thank you.
Okay? I'm going to get into Food Lion cares. I'm going to say it before he do. Food Lion really cares, y'all. I seen it with my own eyes. And they were happy to make sure people were eating and people were getting their nourishment. And it was just a beautiful thing. And I just thank God for them actually immediately on the spot, sending somebody on the spot to show you that they're dead serious. So right now, Kroger's, y'all need to get your stuff together. Harris Teeter, get your stuff together because Food Lion are trailblazers. And I want to thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Because I really, really think the viewers needed to put a face on it. Which store is yours again? And let the viewers know so they can come and give you a hug for what you're doing.
I'm the Food Lion on 3500 North Roxborough Road in Durham, Old Oxford Commons, store 747.
Right beside Walmart. You know where it is, Durham. All right? So, real talk, I just want to really thank y'all. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Because at the end of the day, again, everybody deserves a little help sometimes. And even though, you know what I'm saying, it might seem like this world is becoming full of selfish people, Food Lion proved they ain't one of them. You see what I'm saying? So, y'all good.
Thank you.
How about that? Harris Teeter, I'm coming after you. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. But I thank you, Food Lion, honestly. And I really do sincerely thank you. And I'm thanking you for the community in Durham because, again, being from humble beginnings, we really appreciate that because that builds character, that get rid of stigma and let them know it don't exist. There are people out here that really care. So you can't get no better than that. But definitely, moving into the communication part of this segment, I just wanted to definitely, reach out, honestly, to everyone that's in their living room right now, or everyone that's even in traffic and got a TV in the car, whatever the case. We, melanated people, these are the ones I'm talking about right now, not excluding anyone else right now. We, melanated people, have to get a lot better at respecting what we see. And when I say this, I'm meaning like, what I've noticed since I got back home, is that there still is a lot of resentment, a lot of stigma, and a lot of communication that is not being shared to the youth. And then everyone wants to cast down the youth like they didn't have a mom or daddy or a grandma. They want to cast down the youth like they don't have dreams and visions and ambitions. When I hear the youth, they have the same visions and ambitions that you had. But even now, they call it daydreaming when we was in class looking up at the sky because we were bored. Now they call it ADD-HD. Now they want to give your child adult psychotropic meds for an illness that they don't even have. It's still daydreaming. So not to get off the subject, communication is a must in our community. And we must communicate the truth, we must communicate spiritual values, and we must communicate the love of each one teach one. Because that each one teach one keeps us all aware on what's going on around us and makes us armed to better take care of our families and our friends. So communication is very, very, very important. And in all honesty, without communication, wouldn't nobody know anything. Because at the end of the day, communication gave me my information to finish high school. Communication gave you the information to finish college. Communication gave you the instructions on how to drive your car. So when you ignore communication, what you're doing is ignoring the things you have to know, not things that just fly by you. And then there's several different ways of communicating, but I'm meaning that each one teach one, and I'm staying on that each one teach one because I ain't been seeing a bunch of that. I've been seeing a bunch of elders, a bunch of teachers in school, a bunch of professors that's only talking to the group that's in front of them. They're not talking to the child that wasn't able to get in college or talking to the child who dropped out of college. And you wonder, like, how is he going to talk to him? I hear y'all out there talking. How is he going to talk to him? By creating some type of initiative program to get to him. Because when you think professors, when you think teachers that your job is over because you clocked out at 5 and all the class has left, your job didn't stop there. You took an oath to uplift, inspire, and educate uneducated people. So with that gift from God to do those things, it seems tearless sometimes, but trust me, without education and communication, we all would be in a bad way, you know? But again, communication and community efforts is what this show is about today. And I just want everybody to acknowledge the fact that there was a gentleman. I got to speak on this gentleman. I was in the Food Lion. Now that I think about it, I was in the, ain't that Food Lion on 55?
Yes.
Man, I was in the Food Lion on 55. See how that worked? What's the irony in this? I'm at the Food Lion, just grabbing the kids dinner for the night. And a gentleman, well-dressed gentleman, you know, dude had the cufflinks, all that. I was like really checking the suit out. I was like, man, you that dude right now. Real talk. I mean, check the cufflinks out. I mean, you that dude. I thought he would just laugh, but you know what he did? He turned right around and paid for my groceries in Food Lion. Paid for them. I was like, oh, bro, I ain't actually do that. He said, he was a minister right here behind Durham Tech. I can't remember the church what it was, but he said he's building a community. He said he teaches everyone in his church to pay it forward. So I was like, wow, this is weird because don't nobody buy me stuff. So, you know, I'm freaked out about this because I'm like, oh, man, don't nobody get nobody nothing. Because it's easier to say that than actually accept the fact somebody did give you something. So I say all of this, and a great thing that happened in Food Line, but we talked on the outside, and he said, I'm building a community. I'm not just building my church. And I have to communicate to the community to let them know that we're here, and we're not here to take from them. They give out vegetables. They give out food. At least 2 days out of the week, they give out food and vegetables from the local farms around here. And it's right around the McDougal area, Durham Tech area. And I hate it that I don't remember the brother's name, but he was truly sent by God, not because he bought my groceries, because he represented the paying it forward like God said in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Once you have it on your heart to do a good deed, you just do it. Love doesn't come with a comeback. Love's come with unconditioned. Like, look, I do that, I ain't looking for nothing, and that's what he did. So next show, I will tell you where the church is exactly, who the minister is exactly, and I probably have him on the show because I got his number. So communicating is a must, y'all. So again, you know, I have to stay on this because what I'm realizing is that, oh, wow, you know what's great? I flipped my paper over. I'm finna tell you where the church is. The church is on Troy Street, 663 Troy Street. It's called Faith Gospel Tabernacle, okay, UHC. And it's Pastor, let me get it right, Gilbert. Pastor Gilbert. And if any, Harris Teeter, this is your time to shine. If any time you need to donate some food or something, Food Line doing their thing, so, you know, they good. They're the good. This guy's straight over here. Harris Teeter, Kroger's, hey, you can go holler at that guy because, we'll try to, shine a little light on what y'all doing too because every community needs an outreach program. So Mr. Gilbert's number, you can all reach out to this gentleman. Again, he's at 663 Troy Street, and it's called Faith Gospel Tabernacle, UHC, Pastor Gilbert, 919-885-9444. See, I found the number. See how the Spirit works? Here, go right here. So I got it. So I say all of that to say we can't do it without communicating with the community because we're part of that community that must communicate. And again, I was telling someone the other day, I said, what if we all walked and there wasn't cars? We would actually know the people we pass by every day going to work. Mm-hmm. But by us being in that car, it's almost like riding in your living room all the way to work, being isolated by that metal and that plastic or whatever, that vinyl, and actually excluding you from actually knowing the people you're beside. And you can pass these people for 30 years with the window up and never know them. You see what I'm saying? But the day you take your time to speak to your community, communicate with your community, then you'll find out it ain't that bad in Durham. Raleigh got more crime than Durham. Look it up. Statistically speaking, it's bigger, more people there, more crime. Okay? Durham has some of the best schools on the planet Earth. Okay? We got Duke. And Duke is like the number 2 or 3 in the world for the city of medicine. Okay, that's something to be proud of. Then you got North Carolina Central. Eagle Pride. Eagle Pride. You see? Eagle Pride, make it happen. Make very successful people. And also, in Central, does a lot for the community. You just got to go down there and talk to, what's her name, Michelle. Go talk to Michelle in the marketing department. Know her personally. She's the bomb. And I'm trying to think of Michelle's last name. Michelle Williams. Do you know Michelle? Michelle is a sweetheart. And any information you need pertaining to the college or anything that they're doing around Central, talk to Michelle. Michelle is the bomb, and they're literally there to communicate with the community to let you know that we're here for you. So, I say all of this to say that we have to come together, people, because I've honestly been disappointed at a lot of detachment between the elders and the youth. And it's almost like everybody pointing a finger like they're a different race. Both of y'all black. Yeah. Okay? So how can you talk about the youth when you're an elder? And how can you talk about the elders when you're a youth? That's disrespectful on both ends. You see what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say, Durham. Now, Chapel Hill, I know you're watching this live. Please call in if you got any questions, because the call-in number is at the bottom of the screen. Please call in. Durham, you can call in. Carrboro, please call in. But moral of the story is that we need a hug. We need a hug. We need a hug. Everybody in Chapel Hill need to walk to Durham. Everybody in Durham need to walk to Chapel Hill. Just start hugging people. Because it's amazing how I see how we're in a city and everybody likes staying strangers. And it's a small town. This ain't no big city. I just moved from Atlanta. 285 is an hour long, okay? You ain't gonna know everybody in that middle of that 285 because it's about 2 million in that middle. And there's 2 million on the outside of 285. So it'll be probably a little more difficult in Atlanta, but around here, this is a small town. Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill should be one place, honestly. But with the laws that governs and the powers that be, they somehow separated it. For some reason, I don't know. But everything is a walk from one another. So I say all of this to say, y'all, we need to get better and be more proactive like Food Lion. These are multi-millionaires that took their time to get out of that Learjet or get out of that nice, fuzzy, warm office with the lion stuffed in the corner and said, look, man, I got to take care of people, because if it wasn't for people, we wouldn't be here. So you got to think about that. If it wasn't for the man at the gas station giving you gas, you wouldn't have no gas. And what killed me is the people that say, I do it all myself. Mm-hmm. I don't need nobody. I can do it myself. Mm-hmm. Who going to sell you food? Who's going to give you the gas? Who's going to actually rear your children when you drop them off at school? So you got to stop thinking I, and more like team. Because when you think team, you can get more done for you, your family, and your community. But granted, everybody don't agree on the same thing. I understand that. But you'll be amazed how many people that do agree. Mm-hmm. But if you're standing, and what I hate the most is people that push their stigma on you. Man, they ain't right in Durham. Ain't nobody right out here, man. I mean, keep to yourself. That's the worst thing you can do, is pass that to your children. Because you'll be amazed, that guy that you told him not to speak to might wind up being his best friend. Or might wind up being the one that saved his life. You see what I'm saying? Because we're around each other. You see what I'm saying? If you're not around, how's somebody going to access or have access to you or be able to help you in any facet? So you have to have humility and attitude adjustment, because everybody is not the best person in the world, but they definitely ain't the worst one, because God wouldn't have bred life in them, you get what I'm saying, if they weren't worth living. You get what I'm saying? So let's just get back to the love. Let's get back to the each one teach one. Let's get back to the thanking Food Line. Take some canned foods down there because they feeding people. I seen it with my own eyes. They are feeding a lot of people. And they're not asking for any props. I asked them to come on the show. Let me clear that up. I asked Food Line to come on. Food Line didn't want no credit for that. I didn't see not one camera out there. They did that because they wanted to. So that's why I'm giving Food Line they props, because they deserve every bit of it, because it's very rare, again, to see a corporation of that magnitude even care, you know? So I say all of that to say, you know, guys, if they can do it, we can do it, because we literally are the community. They came and set up shop to help our community. Food Line didn't have to be in our neighborhood. You see what Harris Teeter doing? I'm just playing Harris Teeter. but they're here, but you ain't heard nothing from them. You heard what Kroger's doing. I ain't saying they ain't gonna be here next week, Kroger's. I ain't saying nothing crazy, because I know y'all probably show up, especially after this gentleman done left, because they shining on you right now. But moral of the story is that we definitely gonna need more initiatives like that in the community to show the community it ain't about the crime, the drugs, or anything that's already in everybody else's neighborhood. This is not just in Durham's backyard or Carborough or Chapel Hill's backyard. This is in a nation. Nixon set that up years ago. Do your homework. Ain't gonna get into Nixon, but check out that red tape and what that red tape was about. Okay, then you'll understand that this is bigger than all of us, but we can beat it all just by communicating and community efforts. Okay? So that's the bulk of this show. But I don't want to hold up my guest today, because, again, he left the store, came here just to speak to you guys today. And he got to go back to the store. Am I right? So we ain't going to hold him up, but everybody say, bye, Mr. Food Line. Thank you for the food. And y'all can come up there and let them know how much you appreciate it, because they might not do it next year. You might need that milk for that cereal. No, I'm just playing, though. But definitely, it was a pleasure having you on the show, man. Please come back
Will
to see
do.
us.
Thank you.
All right? So everybody, I just want to put it out there that community efforts, okay, and communication is the backbone of the community. Because if the community is not communicating, if the community is not being proactive in helping each other, that ain't a community. That sounds like prison. That sounds like where everybody was just thrown in there and like, I hope they get along. If they don't matter. I'm going to still get paid off of them. So we got to stop thinking that lives don't matter. Because when you think lives don't matter, it's your life that don't matter, because you gave up. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I was feeling a little slighted this morning because, you know, the people that you grew up with, you know, still doing the same things, and you still love them. You don't hate them. But then it's weird, because here it is, you know, let's say you got the knowledge, you know, but let me say this before I even get into that. Socrates said this. I didn't say this. Socrates said this. Socrates said, if you feed people information quicker than they want to get it, they'll kill you. And why, in this 9th episode, I am a nervous wreck right now. Because to go around in my community or the community abroad, I get props. I hear people say, AJ, we love your show. We love the information that you discuss. We love how you're bringing some real topics up for us to discuss. Again, y'all can call in and stop me at any time, okay? Because this is a live call-in TV talk show. This is not the Jay Rilla show. This is your show. So if you don't call your show, I guess you ain't got nothing to say. And you see I don't run out of stuff to say, so I keep you going. But moral of the story is really all about building each other up. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a warped sense of what the Shriners meant, what the Masons meant, in the Mason Temple meant. And then when I look behind the scene and I read up on it, they were all about building character. You know, and people try to tie the Masonic order into the Illuminati. They night and day, y'all. Truly night and day. And let me tell you who the Illuminati is, since I'm communicating to my community to try to give you some efforts in what's really going on. The Illuminati ain't nothing but a bunch of nerds, scared to death, okay? So what they do is they plagiarize the media, plagiarize and heighten the sense of fear so y'all can pretty much drive yourself crazy. You get what I'm saying? When in actuality, you know, Illuminati don't even exist, honestly. Because if it did, it would have done what it's going to do. But I want you to always remember that wise old man told me, wherever there's a push, there's a pull. So when you think somebody is working on destroying the earth, oh, the world is coming to an end, there's just twice as many people that's like, no, he ain't. I wish he would. So I say all of that to say, let's get rid of these conspiracy concepts. Let's get rid of all of this nonsense and believing. And another thing, even down to religion. Belief means to accept something you don't understand. That ain't what I said. Look up Webster. Webster will tell you what it means. But when you understand and have knowledge, you ain't got to believe no more. You know better. So getting into communicating and community efforts. I got a book. This is the book of the week. I want y'all to take a look at this book. Real good, positive gentleman gave me this book. I'm going to bring it in a little close for you. This gentleman was probably spoken of very vaguely in the last, since 1905. This gentleman, S.B. Fuller. Do you know this gentleman literally was born in a slave quarters down in Louisiana during the time where they still had slaves down there on the bayou right there on the coast, but they just lived in one of the homes that was left over. But this man created several companies that actually changed, oh my God, the finances of most black Americans today. Let me tell you who also followed this gentleman. George E. Johnson, the founder of Johnson & Johnson Products, the first black company listed on the American Stock Exchange, followed this man here, Mr. S.B. Fuller. Then you got John H. Johnson, founder of Ebony and Jet, and many leading black orientated magazines. Ebony, Jet, and all of them. This guy, Mr. John Johnson, followed again S.B. Fuller. I ain't done yet. Then we're gonna go to Richard McGurry, and they call him Rick. He's the late owner and president of Chicago's Seaway Furniture Store. And he also followed Mr. Fuller, S.B. Fuller. All of these gentlemen are very wealthy and very prominent right now. I ain't finished either. We got Chuck Stone, the renowned writer and syndicate journalist who also served as an aide to the Harlem Congressman Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Y'all know who Adam Clayton Powell Jr. is. There's no way you don't know who that brother was. But all of these quote-unquote entities, again, followed Mr. Fuller. I got one more for you. Had a young lady, Rose Morgan. All the people that's in beauty supplies and know about the history of Madam C.J. Walker and all the rest of them. We got Rose Morgan, successful owner and operator of Morgan House of Beauty and Morgan Fashion Tours. Miss Morgan also followed Mr. S.B. Fuller. And they call these the Floridies. Let me say it right. The Floridies. The Floridies were the hundreds of people that followed Mr. Fuller's teachings and behaviors. So you got to think about it. This man was born in 1905, okay? So this is old school. You don't get no older schooler than this. But no one ever heard about this brother. But I'm here to show you the book exists. It's $21, $21.91. I guarantee it's one of the best books you're going to buy to learn about a real pioneer for black businesses. And it ain't just about black businesses, but, again, my people really need this kind of stuff because, we've been given outdated books. Y'all know the history. Outdated books, especially in the inner city. We've been given tainted foods. We've been given food with aspartame, but everybody getting that. And I'm going to tell all of y'all right now, stop drinking milk. Stop drinking milk. Milk does not do your body any good. Look it up. First thing, I want to speak to the mothers, all races. What's the first thing the doctor tell you to do when that baby catch a cold? Take it off the what? The milk. Why do you think he tell you to take that baby off the milk? Because that milk's not yours. 10 seconds. If that milk is not yours, what you're doing is pumping some synthetic, some made up, some unneeded substance into your baby who you claim to love so much. When in actuality, look at every animal on the planet Earth and see when the cow, let's see, when the bird run out of milk. Do you think it run down to the wolf and say, hey man, I done ran out of milk for my cereal, man. You got some milk on your wolf? And the wolf go in the cave and bring him out of. That's how far we've gone, and we've been taught and communicated the wrong stuff, okay? Because at the end of the day, there's aspartame for you non-smokers. It's cancer in that milk. It's cancer in your gum. It's cancer in most of the stuff you put in your mouth. That's why you need to read the back of the package when it says aspartame. And I want y'all to look up what aspartame does. Roaches won't even eat it. Roaches, ants won't even eat this stuff, but they feeding it to you, your children. As of 2008 or 9, I believe it's 08, Georgia, I don't know about here, Georgia announced they put aspartame in every bottle of milk that's being issued to the state of Georgia. Do you know in less than a year, the whole state of Georgia was lit up, county to county of children with upper respiratory issues? No one paid no attention to this. That's why I think this, I know the spirit of my creator of Africa, whoever that be, is telling me all of this, because as soon as I did my research, that's exactly what it is. These children are dealing with asthma issues, dealing with pertussis. If you know about pertussis, it's a newborn pneumonia, pretty much. My daughter almost died from it because she had to spend some time in the hospital in a little incubator till they get this pertussis out of her. And all of it comes from mother giving them the over-counter milk and not want to give the child breast milk. You got to understand, the only reason for breast milk is that's the only nutrients that child will ever need. It comes from the mother. Just like that dog nurtures its pups, like that duck nurtures its ducklings, like that horse that takes care of the pony and feeds his pony. You ain't never seen no horse go knock up out at the door and be like, hey, I done ran out of milk from a pony. Hey, can you give me a glass of that Mayflower? No, because at the end of the day, what I noticed, and I'm communicating with my community to give y'all some real good stuff. Most companies, such as this one, like this gentleman was just up here, don't give a rat's about you. They only care about the bottom line. How much did we make today? And I'm here to tell you, you need to start looking up these companies, because a lot of them now support the nerds that are scared and trying to, quote unquote, call themselves being part of this depopulation because they're fearful of one thing I can think is the children of Israel. That's the only thing I can think, because only way somebody break into your house, real talk, is because somebody thinks somebody got some. Hold on, we got a call coming in, people. Caller, what's your name? Give us a state your business. The topic today is community and community efforts and how we need to communicate with one another just to make things happen in the world. So what is your comment, sir, about, first I need you to state your name, who you are, and basically what you think about, matter of fact, S.B. Fuller, or the community efforts that we should be seeing in our community that we're not seeing. So state your name, sir.
My name is Johnny Robinson.
Hey, Mr. Jeff Robinson, how you doing?
I'm good. Just to let you know that I got your information. I saw it. I haven't gone through it, but I did see it.
Okay, well, Mr. Robinson, I want you to actually comment on Mr. S.B. Fuller and your experience with that gentleman.
S.B. Fuller was the first self-made black millionaire, and he reached out and touched and helped a lot of other blacks to become very successful and self-sufficient. in working with each other.
Wow.
I just
And
feel that he was before his time because some of the things that he did, some of the things that he said, people are still not aligned with those things as of right now.
Wow. And Mr. Robinson, I want to give the viewers a little smidgen of how we met each other, if you don't mind.
Okay,
Basically,
I'm running a very tight ship right now, but go ahead.
okay, well, moral of the story, this gentleman, the Spirit brought us together. And once we connected and we started talking, this is a prime example how the elders and the youth come together through communicating. Because I didn't know Mr. Robinson from a can of paint. He didn't know me from a can of Spam. But when we came together, well, we created lunch. So what I say is this book that I'm showing y'all today actually came from the gentleman that's on the other line now. I don't know, he didn't think that he would be on the air right now, but he is. And I just want to thank you in front of all of these viewers, Mr. Robinson, for this wonderful book. And definitely we will stay in touch, and thank you for calling in today, sir.
You're so welcome. I didn't know I was calling in today. I just calling in, but I appreciate you putting me on because that book is available for those that's interested in getting a copy of the book. I can make that happen for them. I can make it available for them.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thanks again, Mr. Robinson. Thank you very much for calling in.
You're welcome. We'll talk. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So
All right. Bye now.
we got to live this thing. We got to quit talking about coming together, talking about, look at the kids, they ain't doing what they supposed to be. Look at this. Come in now. This book is probably one of the best books I've ever received other than the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Because Rich Dad, Poor Dad, honestly, set me on fire. Because when I saw how, quote unquote, the rich dad had, quote unquote, the cars, the money, everything, and the knowledge, but then the poor dad was a professor at the local Hawaiian university, nice house, nice cars, everything, but had bills up the wazoo. And rich dad will tell, the poor dad will tell the stepson that, hey, you get a good education, get a good job, work till your knees hurt, you'll have what I got. And the only thing the youth saw was you always complaining about bills. You always complaining about how we can't have these things because we have these nice things. But then when Rich Dad talked, Rich Dad was like, look, what you want? Hey, he ain't never worked nowhere. You ain't never see him in the office nowhere. And he had it. So what made the book interesting to me was that the Rich Dad gave the son an ultimatum. The Rich Dad was his biological father. But the Poor Dad was his mother's new husband. So the way he narrowed it down, he went to his Rich Dad and was like, Dad, why he always talking about get an education, get a good job, and work till I die pretty much, and that's his form of life? Because his daddy said he ain't know no better. So he gonna tell you what his daddy told him through his cultural ethics. But then what Rich Dad would say is he wouldn't tell him nothing. I remember one time, the first time he came to him, he was like, Dad, I want to know how to get rich. How do I get rich? The Rich Dad was like, okay, I'll give you an ultimatum. All right, I'll give you $20 an hour, all right, $10 an hour to not ask me how to get rich, and you just work at the store with Miss Phyllis over here. He was like, nah, I want to know how to get rich. He said, okay, I'll give you $25 an hour just to work here at the store so I ain't got to teach you nothing. He's like, nah, Dad. He said, okay, if you want me to teach you how to get rich, I ain't paying you nothing. He's like, what? He's like, you still want to know how to get rich? He's like, yeah, you ain't got to pay me nothing. Daddy left the store. Didn't come back for he would come back. I think he came through the store probably twice in 2 weeks. Walked past him, spoke, kept it going. Spoke to Miss Phyllis. Hey, Miss Phyllis, how you doing? Hey, all right. Talked to her. Didn't even speak to his son. Kept it moving. And then his son was like, why my dad ain't talking to me? So he ran his dad down and was like, Daddy, ho, you supposed to been teaching me how to get rich. What are you doing? He said, you learned your first rule today, son. You never gonna get rich working for nobody. So with that statement alone, I tuned into that book so deep. And then Rich Dad kept trying to remind him that your destiny is in you. not someone else, not your buddy, not your friend's idea, not him. God will give you your own vision and your own blessing for you to follow your own path. But if you keep thinking, me, Craig, Kiki, Shasha, all us got to come together, you better remember you were born alone. Born alone, die alone. Everybody know that story. So when you're sitting with the same group of people for 20 years and ain't made nothing, why be with them another 20? They still love you, but you need to go somewhere. Because obviously your environment doesn't support your bright ideas. And that's another thing from my college graduates I want to share with y'all. Do you know almost 70% of all of the black colleges were funded by the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, and a lot of the royal families? And you want to know why? The AU Center in Atlanta, Morris Brown, Clark, Spelman, all of them were funded by the Rockefellers. You know why? Because every time y'all graduate, guess what y'all do? Y'all go to the masses, never come back to the community, no one teaching one nothing. But grandma sold ices to get your mama over the hump. Mama worked at IBM cleaning garbage cans to get you over the hump. And as soon as you get your degree, you went right over to a whole nother foreign land. You don't know nobody. Take this degree, make all this money, get your credit up, and never come back and build your community. That was the point of you going to that college. And I know you was wondering, how did they get a Greek fraternity on a black campus, on an African-American campus? That was part of the whole scheme of things. If I can turn you into what you hate, you will hate who you are. So I say this to all my Greeks. You can take it how you want. Study the history of the Greeks and African relationship from Pangea all the way up to the present day. They didn't have one, okay? There was no agreeing with the Greeks versus the Africans because they despised each other. Because one wanted to take over Alexander, the Greek, not the great, because wasn't nothing great about him. He was just an evil man going around destroying villages, trying to take over the world. You get what I'm saying? And then here it is, again, grandma, shuck corn, granddaddy, worked at the steel mill all these years so you can become a Greek? Yeah. Do you think that's why your black families slaved on their knuckles to become Greeks? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, and you can take it how you want. You know what I'm saying? You can come on the show too. It's all good. Durham behind me. So I say all that to say, why didn't you study something about you and what you see in the mirror? Why didn't you try for a second to study the folklores and legends and traditions of Africa? Since you're African, go to Chinese institution. I guarantee it ain't no black fraternity on that campus. Go to an all-white college, Ivy League. I guarantee you ain't no African-American fraternity. Zulu Nation, Zulu. You see how crazy that sound? That's how y'all sound. See, but ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you because they set the curriculum up for you to turn your back on your community. For you to get in a fight with the brother that didn't have his degree because y'all can't get along because you feel like you somewhere else with pearls. What is men doing with pearls anyway? I thought pearls was for women. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. This is going to shock all of y'all. I was raised. Listen, I was raised by Qs. Omega Psi Phi, North Carolina State University. My brother was the OG, triple OG, Sam Webb. Y'all can look him up for yourself. He was OG, Big Brother Almighty. And I saw that as a child, and I was like, ain't nobody gonna whoop me into no knowledge. Ain't nobody gonna whoop me into no belief system. Yeah, y'all got some girls, y'all partying, but I can get the liquor from the store and the girl from the same store. I don't need to be with no crew or no clique denouncing their African heritage, getting stamped like a slave on my arm, on my skin, like they did back in slavery. This is why I got this show, okay? I got this show so I can expose all of that tomfoolery. That's what I'm gonna call it. Tomfoolery. Because you have no business trying to be nothing but what God created you to be. God made you perfect in all designs and everything. And if you thinking you got to click up with a crew or a clique, You know what you just did? You excluded yourself from your community. Like the Black Caucus of police officers, the Black Caucus of architects, the Black Caucus of engineers, the Black Caucus of political, let's say governors, the Black Party of electricians. All y'all did was put a big gate between you and your community so you can't each one teach one. Come on now, somebody call in here, because I know I probably won't get a call on that one, because y'all know I know what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, that's why I got this show up here. I got this up here because I got tired of hearing all that crazy talk and nobody sitting back trying to develop the panel where you can come here and speak about these things. Callers, call in, because I want somebody to, I guess, disagree with me. Because I know a lot of y'all pledged the Kappas, a lot of y'all pledged Omega, a lot of y'all pledged AKA, a lot of y'all pledged Delta. Look at those damn symbols. Those are Greek symbols representing the destruction of you. And then they made up this thing talking about it's a sister thing or a brother thing. Okay, is it the sisters just in your organization, or is it just all black sisters? It ain't. It's just the sisters in your organization and brothers. It's just the brothers in your organization. You see how that worked? But it took a community to get you there. And that's all y'all got to do to communicate and to community outreach to your community. You're embarrassing. Okay? So take it how you want. So that's why I say what I say and do what I do pertaining to this show. Because you don't have to agree with me. I come from a whole different set of cultural ethics that probably most people wouldn't understand even if I showed them where it was at. But at the end of the day, you know I'm right. You know I ain't got no business having no Greek nothing on no African American campus. That's just like turning you to a black KKK member. White power, black power. What? That's basically what you're doing by representing the Greeks. So I know you done took the beatings for it now. I know you done got a little swole on the weights and all that. But guess what? You got dumbed down right when you supposed to be lifted up. So again, you don't have to agree with me, but again, do your homework. If you study the Greeks would impel you when you went into battle with them. They will sit you on a stick, probably about 7-8 feet high, stick a stick in your back, and they will watch the vultures eat off of you. And they will line the streets in Greece with your black bodies to let you know if you walk across there, this is where you're going to be next. Look it up. Look up why they mad at Hannibal of the Carthaginians. You get what I'm saying? Look at why they upset with Toussaint Overture. Look these stories up, and you're going to see it was all the Greeks trying to destroy you at all points. So then you turn right around, get educated, and become a Greek or become a Klans member? That's on you, y'all. I'm just going to say it how I feel. And then you go to the Bible. Ooh, let me get into this Bible, because I'm communicating to my community to give them some type of outreach. You get what I'm saying? Then you go to the Bible, and you'll see that in history, the slave master had a whip, whooping you with the word out in his hand like this right here. Got it wide open like this. Thou told me to beat you. Thou told me to whip you in front of your children. Whoop the daddy, whoop the mama, so everybody know I'm the man. And the book was wide open. Okay? So, when you think about that for a second, did that slave master mean you any good? You were like a chicken to him. Matter of fact, if you look it up, they kept better records of their slaves than their own personal financial records. That's the Doll Rolls. Look it up. It's DAWGROLLS, the Doll Rolls. You can probably find your own tribe in there and where they were shipped off to and probably trace it back here. Then if you go into all the laws that's in America, those were the black Christian codes. There was a bunch of Bible-holding Christians created every law in this United States to put you under the ground. The first law was loitering, hanging out at the stove. And I say hanging out at the stove. I'm talking about, okay, you got to think about it. When they released the slaves ain't have nowhere to go. They've been on the plantation 100 years. Mama, grandma, all of them. So when they told them they could leave, they had never been past that stop sign. So by them never passing that stop sign, past that stop sign was like going underwater, a whole new world. So they just walked. That's why you got people with names like Woodbridge, because he named himself after the Wood Bridge that he crossed because he didn't know his name. Then you go and you do your research. I want you to look up the Black Christian codes. I'm not going to say this again. And to the churches, 1906. All the Catholic churches came to all the black churches like, you want a big church made of brick? You want rooms galore, basement, upstairs, all this good stuff? They teach three things: hope and healing, riches and afterlife, and the Trinity. Okay? Ain't none of them going to tell you about Melchizedek's order. None of them going to tell you about the healthy antics that God told you need to spend eating. God said distinctively, I left the herbs and plants. If you believe in that word, God said in your book, Christians, I left the herbs and plants as your meat and medicine. Why y'all out here eating fried chicken and McDonald's and all of this stuff and taking the kids like, you want McDonald's, and you're rewarding them with garbage. Garbage, pure garbage. And another thing, when these children suffer from all of these mucus issues and upper respiratory issues and things like that, I'm going to tell you right now, the best cure for their sickness is straight garlic. Would you believe that? Just garlic. True story. My son was deathly sick. Could nobody figure out what it was. He won't eating. He wasn't holding his head up. He just would lay down all day. No, Daddy, I don't want anything. And I was in tears. I didn't know what to do because this is my king. Here it is, this is my lookalike, and he's sitting here hurting, and Daddy ain't hurting. I wanted to take his pain for him. So instead of going on a manic behavior, I reached out to my community. I reached out to the elders. I called my Uncle Myron in New York. I said, Myron, I need some help, man. My son, but I was crying. I was in tears. He was like, boy, if you don't wipe your face and go in that refrigerator and get some garlic. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to cook my son. He's sick. What are you going to do? He said, Jason, what did I tell you? Dice up some garlic, put it on the bottom of his foot, and put 3 socks on his feet. When he lays down, his feet will sweat, and the garlic will go right in his bloodstream and kill the rhinovirus. I said, get out of here. It was 11:45 at night when I put that garlic on my son's bottom of his foot. True story, everybody. True story. My son was on my chest at 2:45 that morning. Daddy, I feel great. I don't know what you did, but look, I'm even talking to you now. My son's very articulate. I wonder where he got it from. But he stood on my chest. I said, but you stink, though. He said, I know, but I feel better, though. Because he reeked garlic, of course. But when I saw that child jump on my chest, come from upstairs in his bedroom, walk downstairs, jump on my chest and wake me, Daddy, I feel better. Do you know, that's when I knew how much the hospital's been killing us the whole time. Listen to me. The hospice toll. What does hospice mean? I'm communicating with your community, and I'm talking to you. Hospice means death. Pitol means the building of or the structure of whatever hospice means. So it's the house of death, okay? Because your doctor will never tell you to get a dietitian because that excludes him and his little pad and him getting all that to pay for that Panamera he got outside of that X6. You see what I'm saying? So again, you either being lied to constantly or you find your own God, you find your creator and you ask him, what is the truth? Because right now, we're not getting the truth, people. We're not getting it. White, black, green, gray. We can go to McCain when he was running for office for president. What McCain said distinctively is we're looking for surgeons, terrorists, and undesirables. Okay? Now see McCain, he can't even lift his damn arms up. He got to speak to you like this. He can't even lift a hand over here. Because he mad because them POWs, they got a hold of him. They got a hold of him. And he got away, but they got a hold of him. And then they put what's happening on him. But now he made it out of a POW camp, and then he want to kill everybody that don't look like him and can't hold a hand up past the head. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of evil people that we voted into this government White House that does not have your best interest. So, but you do have your children's best interests, I hope, and you will do the research. We got 5 minutes left, people, and I'm glad really ain't nobody called because I had a lot to say today. I thought I didn't, but I want y'all to get this book, y'all. Believe it or not, please go get this book because it's beautiful pictures of very prosperous people back in the day. You know what I'm saying? When times was rough for most people, these people were living like kings and queens, okay? And I just want to put it out there that to study the past, it will literally help you to prevent the mistakes that possibly they made. And to study the past, it'll probably show you how not to get caught up in anything because you paid attention to brothers like Mr. Fuller that came up in some of the roughest times in American history for black people. So I say all that to say, people, each one teach one. And when you start realizing that lies are being put in books and novels and fed to your children and to you, and you ain't smart enough to try to counteract that and go read something else, all the knowledge is in these books, y'all. And if y'all don't feel it's important to feed your children knowledge, they will suffer from the lack of knowledge. If y'all don't feed y'all children knowledge of the court system, okay, what a plea is and what is what a plea is and how 90% of all convictions are pleas. You get what I'm saying? You need to know how to appeal a decision and not just take a plea because you do have options. Stop taking these pleas and starting the case over. Because I guarantee that judge do not want his record tarnished by him having to reopen a case. And if you notice, that plea is 90% of our problem, being incarcerated and getting charges that you didn't deserve or never even warranted. It was never warranted for you to take that charge. But you felt like your court appointed told you, hey, this probation ain't bad, man. They ain't giving you time. Tell him to take that probation and stick it where it don't shine. Because what he's doing is he's destroying your record. Once you get that felony, you won't be able to sell crude oil. You won't be able to do big business. You won't be able to do real estate because they're asking you for a Series 7 now coming up next year. They want you to have your Series 7. And if you got a felony, they ain't even trying to let you play the big game. So why you think they keep trying to give you felonies, people? Okay? And y'all know who I'm talking to. So again, all those who I'm not talking to, you know who I'm talking to too. So at the end of the day, this is my cultural ethics and my diasporic things that's going on in my cultural ethics and in the background of what I have to deal with, trying to bring my community up. But again, if you have something you want to speak on pertaining to your cultural ethics, I would love to hear it. Like I said, I'm waiting on a gay guy any day now to come tell me how he got gay. I'm waiting on the Chinese guy to ask him, why you here? You know what I'm saying? I want them to tell you what they're doing. It ain't about me. But everything I said today was all me. All me. So again, I don't bite my tongue because I mean what I say. And again, if you really want to do some real studying, I want y'all to get Before the Mayflower. I forgot who the author was, but Before the Mayflower, you'll find out there was a lot of great white people that helped us or tried to help us get our 40 acres and a mule, like Theodore Stevens and Charles Sumner out of Charleston, South Carolina. Theodore Stevens and Charles Sumner were quote-unquote supposedly Illuminati bloodline, but they was buried in a black graveyard with the black people that they tried to support and get the 40 acres and the mule and the shotgun for. The carpetbaggers and the scallywags, you better know these were people from up north that came down to push that initiative to keep us out of slavery. These are a number of people that had their stuff in carpet bags, so instead of calling them the N-word, they call them carpetbaggers and scallywags. So we're running out of time, everybody, but I hope and pray that y'all listening out there, because I'm only here honestly because the Spirit of Yah told me to come here, yo. And I honestly, I even wonder someday why I'm even still doing it. But I'm not discouraged in the point to where, like they say, if you can reach one, I'm here for that one. Now, if I reach 21, 20,000, whatever, it ain't about me. I have no church for you to come to. But you best believe this knowledge is for you to take care of your family. Do the research of everything I say. Don't believe nothing I say, so you can take ownership of the knowledge. The What's Up Triangle show is truly geared to helping the community.